portrait of yourself, please?
Yes, of course. So I was born in 1986. I am married. I have 3 children, 2 girls and 1 boy. I studied Germanic languages and economics. I worked as a teacher. I am still working also in a notary office, and I have been a deputy mayor in Mouscron for 22 years now.
Okay, thanks a lot. What was the observation, the reason that led Mouscron to join the network of cities in the field of the SDGs?
So Mouscron had an Agenda 21 until the end of the previous legislature, so in 2018. And when it came to evaluating the work that had been done, we quickly realized that it was worth keeping a sustainable character to our actions. It was also at this time that the region required the municipalities to draw up a transversal strategic program. It soon became clear to us that it would be interesting to link this new STP to sustainable development. And after a few contacts, and in particular with Colruyt, my services proposed to integrate the sustainable development objectives. And the college and the council agreed to adhere to this universal way of working, as proposed by the United Nations. One thing leading to another, and despite some difficulties, COVID was one of them, we are trying to apply the SDGs using various tools that we are testing. This is why participation in a network, first Walloon and then European, appeared to us as an opportunity to perfect our system.
Were you already convinced of the urgency of sustainable development before?
Yes, because as mentioned earlier, we have had a local Agenda 21, and it is clear that we must have a proactive attitude to sustainable development in Mouscron. It is not easy every day. There are still many efforts to be made, but we are going about it in a pragmatic way in Mouscron.
Okay, how do you apply the SDGs in Mouscron? Do you have a particular style in this respect?
A municipality is made up of almost 100 different professions, and we have more than 200 projects every year. For the time being, we apply the SDGs voluntarily with our leaders. But the Environment unit does a lot of activities to convince the departments to use various tools, such as the SDG wheel, the sustainability barometer, the reference framework for sustainable cities, or the holistic technique, which simply consists in choosing the SDGs that you want to highlight for a specific project. So I would say that our style is democratic and creative, because it calls for voluntary participation, but is internally supervised in a playful way.
What are the projects that have come about as a result of this participation? What are the aims of these projects?
There are no projects that came about as a result of this participation. All the municipal projects included in the STP must contribute to the sustainable development of the municipality of Mouscron. We are making the choice to integrate sustainability into our daily work, even if we have to admit that it is not always easy or obvious. The current situation is a bit complicated, but we are hopeful that with the end of the health period, we will be able to get back on track. I would like to add that there is one project that is close to our hearts, and that is the drafting of an Agenda 2030 for a sustainable and resilient city and a roadmap 2050. This work is one of the objectives we have set ourselves by participating in the Urban Global Goals for Cities Network.
What do you think the urban future of Mouscron will be as a result of these projects?
There is a lot at stake for the future of our city. Its population is constantly growing. We can see that despite all our efforts, mobility is becoming a big problem to manage. We are working a lot on citizen participation, and we can rely on a very important network of associations in Mouscron. Finally, our location at the crossroads of Flanders, Wallonia and France is an important element for our development. Mouscron is one of the most densely populated municipalities in Wallonia, but despite its resolutely urban character, we want to give priority to the well-being of our citizens. The application of the SDGs, citizen participation and the drafting of the Agenda 2030 are major challenges for the future of Mouscron.
So, the UN 2030 Sustainable Development Goals are divided into three main areas: humanity, the environment and the economy. Which areas are of particular interest to Mouscron and why?
We prefer a global approach. This is what we advocate in all the networks in which we participate. It is clear that this complicates the task and that it requires a good dose of communication. But we remain convinced that this is the right way.
Thank you. A local working group had to be set up to implement these SDGs in Mouscron. How was it set up and how does it work on a daily basis?
There are two groups, in fact. One group is made up of members of the administration, and the other group is made up of the living forces of the city, namely our neighboring municipalities, the city of Courtrai, the municipality of Étainpuy, the municipality of Waterloo, the city of Roubaix, city of Neuville-en-Ferrain in France, and also associations and structures active in development: Ecovie, Welcome Station, Library, Jeune Chambre Économique, IEG, the youth centers such as Frégate, La Ruche, La Prairie, Crier, IPAL, WAPI 2040, Régie de quartier, Zéro déchet Mouscron, Le Staquet, La Ressourcerie, The Province, the SPV, Droit au logement, CHM, Maison de la Santé, CPAS. And in addition, there are what we call the transition nodes, so the citizens or groups of citizens engaged in the process of ecological transition. With COVID, we were cut off from our momentum, and that's a shame. But our program for 2022 is very attractive.
Have you taken advantage of this to encourage citizen participation in your city?
Citizen participation is one of our town's main concerns. To this end, we have set up participatory budgets enabling groups of citizens to carry out ecological transition projects. It should also be noted that Mouscron has many citizen participation bodies, such as the Council of the Elderly, the Council of Teenagers, and the Council of Children. Various consultative committees, a CCATM, which are all tools for consultation and participation that have been used for many years. Citizens, particularly via social networks, are increasingly attentive to the actions of the commune and wish to give their opinion. We prefer a constructive participation. This is a priority for us. As an example, here is a preview of what we are planning for 2022. For Urbact, writing our SDGs story of what has been done and will be done to implement the SDGs. External partners, an animation TV news of the disaster plus SDG solutions. Also, micro videos of the SDG examples, so 30 videos of 30 seconds to present a sustainable project in Mouscron. Also, internal ODD awareness raising animations. ODD labeling of plants, for example PCS, PCM, PCDN, etc. Our ODDTour with a caravan fitted out as a video booth, so 24 hours and upper secondary schools. Let's redefine also the SDGs in a local way, for example writing and drawing workshop in a library. The imposed use of the SDGs in the 2022 activity report, as foreseen in the TSP, and following them in a holistic way via the barometer or the RFSC, plus a publishable version of the annual report versus SDGs communication. So it's an imposition of the SDG logos in the communal communication. That is, Vivre dans ma ville and all our Facebook publications. And the target by the end of 2022 is drafting off roadmaps 2030 and 2050. And the objective for the end of the legislature is proposing a booklet to integrate the SDGs. So a translation of it into local priorities plus a specific indicator into the local policy.
Okay, in conclusion, would you have a message for our listeners?
Our political responsibility is to ensure a sustainable future for our citizens. The Sustainable Development Goals are a universal tool at our disposal to achieve this. Together, as a network, we must be able to achieve this.
Ça c'est pour les off, ça c'est bien.